All right, y'all, we're in my car right now. We're about to tear out the dash, the double dead hen unit. Or if I have to wire it in here. I believe I can bring it inside though, so let's just jump into it. Alright, so I've done this a million times before, so I can pretty much just speed run this at this point. It's really only a couple bolts and then a couple harnesses you have to unplug, so it's really easy. Hardest part is finding these screws under here. Alright, then we pry this up. This will just come out. We got one more screw right here. Alright, let's pull this out. You guys are about to see the rat nest that's back here. Oh shit. I loomed it too. Alright. So I'm just gonna leave this plugged in right there until I need it. Actually, I do need to take this. Need to take this bezel off, just so I can make sure that it actually, fits. My interest from cars actually stems off of the audio part of it, just because my line of work as of now is I do electrical work, and I was in electrical school when I started to working on my car, which was, over around the pandemic time. And my teacher is a super cool guy, and he would just let us, if we had no work, or if we completed our work that day, we could just, if we had something electrical, more or less, to work on in our car, he would just let us pull it into the shop. Shout out to him. But yeah, the electrical side of this, I actually find fun. It's probably the thing that most people hate doing on a car, which I can understand, because it's very easy to lose your place or just have way too many wires, and just having a couple things to differentiate them, and it gets confusing sometimes. So I definitely understand that part of it. It's definitely annoying, but I don't know, there's something therapeutic for me. Just the little things like this, like making a little harness. It doesn't really, it really takes no brain work. You're really just matching up wires and just making it look nice, which, it's the easiest thing you can really do with wiring. So the harness is disconnected, which means I can bring it inside and make it look all pretty and everything. But one thing that I need to remember is I tapped into the speaker wires up here for my amp for two of my door speakers. So these won't actually go to the head unit at all. Ugh. Yeah, see, this is what I want to change. It's got just a bunch of taped wires, which, tell you the truth, it's honestly fine. It's not terrible. But even here, it looks like something got hot right here. The thing that sucks about electrical tape is after it's on for so long, it just starts to break down, and it basically just turns into rubber, and all the adhesive gets left behind, and it's just a mess to work with after a while, especially after it's been heated up and then cooled down. This is actually probably the best weather for me to do this in, because when electrical tape is cold, it's basically like just plastic, no adhesion at all. This would probably be a good time to talk about some parts of the go-kart build. I will say this video is probably going to come out first, just because I have so much footage to sort through and edit and make coherent. So you'll see it's kind of a mess. Honestly, I'm working on making it, you know, a semi-tolerable video to watch, but this one will probably come out soon. I will say that I did test drive it, and you know, you'll see the results of that, but I have about 2 videos worth that are still coming out. Usually I'm a little bit more gentle, but I know I'm gonna end up cutting them all back to length anyways and doing all that, because even if, the good thing about solder is if I take 2 wires that are both this length and I put them next to each other and I fill that with solder, and then I put heat shrink over that, I can just cut in the center of that solder joint and still have a super good joint for when I go to either resolder it or butt connect it somewhere else. But we got the cobbled up harness, so let's bring this inside, bring the bezel inside too with the hardware, and let's get to the installing of the Apple CarPlay in my 2000 Honda Accord. Alright guys, so here we have the Atoto F7. I've heard decent things about them. Seemed pretty cheap, pretty quality for the price. I opened it up already, looked through all the contents and everything, but everything looked, you know, pretty quality. It's pretty hefty as well, so it's always reassuring. Here we are. One thing I do not like is that the volume up and down are buttons, but we'll see how much that annoys me down the line. I think I'm gonna put a time lapse down. I'm just gonna put my head down and just start working. I got a lot of wires to solder up and heat shrink, so I'll check back with you guys once the wires are all set up. So we've got our wires set up. I actually didn't need as much as I really thought. Half the wires just got put into there and put into here, heat shrunk out of the way. These are my front speakers, and then accessory, or the ignition, power, and ground. These are amplifier on, and then I just left a power to the antenna open. And yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna need. Hopefully don't run into any problems, but you can see I have a heat shrink on there ready to cover up all these wires once I get them all hooked up, so this will look a little bit neater as well. But yeah, I'm just gonna bring the torch, grab some more heat shrink, bring that outside with me, and just start hooking that baby up. All right, we're back in the car. Got this all set up. Looks really good. Everything fits. So let's just get straight into testing it. Everything works before I go ahead and finish this out. It's in. Turned on. Here we go. So I'm just gonna proceed with hooking up the rest of these wires, and then we'll test it out again, and I will get back to you then. Alright guys, I just got everything put back together, the bezels on, the climate controls, everything's all hooked up, plugged in, worked first try, believe it or not. I'm really happy with the cable management that's back there now. It used to just be a mess. I used to have an HDMI to composite converter that would hook up into the back of this. There is composite inputs on the back of those. I'm really happy with how it came out. So I'm just really happy with how it came out. So let's just show you this greatness. So this is my old head unit. It was a Boss Audio. Had it. This was the first thing that I did to my car 2 years ago, and never had a problem with it, other than I believe something was up with the ground, because sometimes it would shut off after it had just been working. Only ever if I shut the car off. It would shut off and then not come back on until I physically remove the ground from my battery and then put it back on. And this is the Apple CarPlay. It's the Toto F7, and yeah, this thing, it looks crisp. I'm very happy with it. I've seen a couple people do reviews on these, and I'm completely unbiased. It was literally just one of the only head units that I could find that was kind of more mid-range for like a double din full screen head unit that was not super laggy. Like, there is definitely a little latency. Not even gonna lie about that. There is latency, and you can see if I press play on that and then hit pause, it'll take a second to play and then take a second to pause. So it's not got infinite memory, you know. It's only going to be so fast for how much I paid for it, which was full transparency, I think around $200, maybe $230. You can get it on Amazon, so very accessible. But yeah, it plays music great, looks great. All the Wi-Fi and GPS settings work. It connects instantly with wireless. That was a big selling point for me. I have CarPlay in that, but it's wired, so kind of annoying, especially when my phone charging port is always dirty, so the cord doesn't want to work half the time. But yeah, this thing is pretty neat. Really enjoy it. I hope you guys liked this shorter video, and I hope you liked me kind of introducing the 2000 Honda Accord. There will be a whole bunch more on this soon. It's in the winter in upstate New York, so that's not to say that there's not going to be projects in the winter. I have plenty to do, like trying to make clear tail lights and other stuff like that I'm just going to either do in the garage or in my basement where I have some form of heat. I would prefer not to drive it now that I have a truck to drive in the winter. I'm not even gonna lie, I did drive it today, but the ground is all dry, so it's not kicking up water that is super salty. So kept her kind of clean, and plus she's been in the snow for at least the past 10 years, and it's already a little too far gone. Not in terms of the rust being so bad that my car is just gonna implode on itself, but that it has already been exposed to salt, and there's only really a couple spots that are gonna get much worse if I keep driving it in the salt. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and new car video coming as soon as possible, but probably next week. All right, guys, peace.